Please join me in praying that I don't say something we all regret. These are dangerous times. Mr. President, are you sure about this? It's not a coincidence that in the scriptures poverty is mentioned more than 2,100 times.
Look in my eyes, what do you see?
These issues are as alive as they ever were.
Neon lights, Nobel Prize, when a mirror speaks, the reflection rise.
This is not about charity, it's about justice. Justice and equality are mates, aren't they? Justice always wants to hang out with equality, and equality is a real pain in the ass.
And the smiling face on your TV.
I changed the channel.
Oh, there's a law of compensation, and there's an accounting to be held, an accounting that shall make the Depression of 1929 seem as a prosperity when it breaks upon.
Only you can set you free. The cult of personality.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
You gave me fortune. You gave me fame. You gave me power in your God's name.
All right, welcome everybody. It's been a minute. I'm not gonna get into what's going on just yet. Being that I'm through the midst of all this, just trying to stay principled, moving forward. But I will be conversating, but not in a way that people might think, where I'll be disrespectful or anything like that. Just there's a lot needs to be discussed and a lot needs to be gone over. But today I'm coming to you guys, one, because I missed you. I had some pretty cool people reach out to me with everything that's currently going on, and really kind of wanted to know, what's the dealio? What are you up to? And so I wanted to take the time to do that, inform you guys on that. And then at the same exact time, I have a public service announcement that needs to be addressed. So yeah, a lot we'll get into. Let's get the likes up. Let's get some people in here. Let's get this shit sharing around. Yeah, a lot has happened, and I don't necessarily know what to start with. There will be a video just for everybody that will get into Chisme, that will get into back behind the scenes info. You want that type of information, you can go over to the Patreon at patreon.com/tinmedia and support Indigenous media. That is the biggest thing, and why I'm on here. Mainly one of the main reasons why I'm on here is to emphasize the support of Indigenous media. And what exactly is Indigenous media? Now, I've been doing little short form videos and content just to kind of keep people informed, keep the kind of numbers up here, viewership and whatnot. And I think I need to kind of go a little bit more in depth, and so that's why I'm here. Indigenous media is important, and I think that's where we can start at in this whole entire conversation. First is the importance of Indigenous media. We have so many people right now that are saying, the coming of fascism. Well, Indigenous media will tell you that fascism is always here. It's always been here. Uh, indigenous media will tell you all of the negative things that happen under imperialism to our communities. Mainstream media will not tell you that. So the importance of indigenous media is of truth, and is of making sure individuals obtain truth. I'm sorry, but I don't want to watch anything and they're lying to me, and they're telling me, it's this when it's really that, or it's that when it's really this. I don't like that. I don't like media that distorts the truth. And we have a lot of mainstream outlets, a lot of independent outlets. I'm not going to get into names. It's not what this, outlet moving forward or ever has been. But I will say that you got to pick and choose, who, what, when, where, and how. And this is where I'm going to cue, this network in, regardless of, you know, where we were in the past, where we are now. Indigenous media like this, no one can take from us that we've been spreading the truth and making sure that the truth is out there. We can't keep allowing, and I put a I put a video out there, and it was, uh say the weird thing, I guess. People need to hear the realness. And then, someone actually ended up telling me that the sequence that I used was, I guess the person was a Zionist. I didn't know that, so it was educational for me and a lot of my comrades over on Instagram, which you can support below. But the main preference of it is that I knew that that was the only way that I was going to be able to get this specific message out. And I can play this message for you guys as well. But in brief, I just want to say that the message was white leftists don't give a shit, and they don't care. Even the term leftist, I question you if you call yourself a leftist, because that just means you want to uphold the values of this colonial structure, and I don't want that. Indigenous people don't want that. And so for you to say you stand in solidarity with us, it's kind of ass backwards of you. um, but I've just put out there, white leftists don't give a shit. Supporting indigenous bodies doesn't just mean helping paying the rent, doesn't just financially, doesn't mean just tangible. It means, physical efforts, that need to be exhibited. And a lot of white said leftists don't want, to do that. They don't want to do the work. But yet they consistently ask for others to do work for them. And in the process of that, people get marginalized. A video that I'm currently working on right now, and it's going to be available on Patreon before it is over here on YouTube, is exposing a lot of individuals that have worked with this network, specific individuals. I won't name any names. You guys will find out in those videos, but I come with receipts. I come with everything to show you every bit of a person that these individuals are. And I've had a lot of them come this way. We've had a lot of shows that we've had, and it's multiple people. It's not just one specific person at all. I've done in this month's time, making short form content and experimenting with that, really gone through a lot of the content that I, was putting out there for other people to digest. I'm digesting and figuring out, what was the issue, what was the problem, or if there even was a problem, what can just be, ratified, what can be done a little bit better. And the one thing that I came across is that, you know, I need for less white people to be involved in this real shit. Like literally no white folks at all, no snow roaches, none of them, because they have exhibited to me that when, the fire and brimstone reaches, even 3 feet before it reaches their toes, they're already willing to call it a quits, say they're done. And that's detrimental to what I want to do here, which is why I've gone through the rebranding, why I've gone through I've been wanting to do that for quite some time. For those that don't know, I do this like every fucking 2 years, like everybody else, just to kind of, keep things fresh. And, I'm always experimenting with new creativity. But nonetheless, I'm kind of dragging stuff on mainly because I'm trying to kill a little bit of time for this segment before I cut to break, and then we get into some real shit that I really want to talk about. Aside from this, is that, indigenous media is important because without us having this, without me having this, a lot of people wouldn't get the information that has been put out there at all. I've have messages, that have been sent to me telling me specifically uh, that this is essential. There was a donation that came in a couple days ago for 20. It was like $24. The individual literally said, "Thank you for telling me through your content that we're still living under an occupation." That was only possible through indigenous media. Leftist media, whatever other fucking media, that shit's not gonna. They're not gonna tell you our stories. They're not gonna want you to listen to our stories unless they could monetize themselves off of it. And that's the biggest fucking problem. Is we have so many white fucking snow roaches on here that monetize themselves or even get this bright ass idea that they can do certain things that other people have done. And it's disgusting because it just shows, that you're willing to do that, but you weren't willing to do it when individuals had asked you to put in the effort, to put in everything. You're not willing to do it unless you want to. And I think that shows the one-sided relationship that indigenous people have with non-indigenous people, and why supporting indigenous media, indigenous-led media, it's so hard for people to navigate towards us, because if we don't have some fucking said individual around us that can say, hey, look, you can trust this indigenous person. It's fucked up. It's some fucked up way of thinking to know that these are how these white leftists fucking think. Or better yet, they'll allow a predator to reap the rewards that an indigenous person should be reaping in regards to financial aid, mutual aid, any tangible efforts that could help any types of projects that are going on. We constantly see, I have seen physically, individuals get things that, in me personally, I feel they don't fucking deserve. And they don't deserve it because they've used the backs of indigenous people to try and justify their indiscriminate behavior and further monetization of their lives. And so I wanted, one, because I'm paraphrasing a lot of of a video that I have already posted on my main page and on the main page for the network. And so I just wanted to, paraphrase something that you guys can obviously probably are going to right now is, as stated, say exactly how you feel about indigenous people, because we can sure as hell feel the colonial bullshit you still try to funnel into our communities. My sovereignty is an illiberal spectacle and never will be. This is a PSA to all white leftists white leftists to really reevaluate the proximity to their proximity to hegemony and how you use it to abuse the so-called relationships you have with indigenous communities, Uhuru. And so you guys know our comrade and correspondent here for the network, Janae, want to say and give a big shout out for those that are not aware and are not following. Please go over and support Sovereignty Conjure. Make sure that you support all indigenous people. But one of the things that was stated right here was, if white leftists and liberals understood intention versus impact, we'd have reparations and all land returned to indigenous hands by now. And it says right here, at what Squally has said it first. And again, yeah, I don't. I'm only going based off of what my comrade said. That I guess they said it first, but I will paraphrase that this is a universal understanding that indigenous people have, is that through a scientific understanding, especially scientific socialist understanding, we know that indigenous bodies will not see liberation unless all people are willing to practice uh, uh, our traditions, willing to practice our ways of lives, and what we see liberation to be like. When you get white folks that are out here, they're like, oh, I want to keep this and I want to keep that and I want to keep this, and you look at how far down the line shit becomes very exploitive, you're then okay, you're fucking a part of the problem. You don't really want to change shit. You just want to rearrange some shit. I'm sorry, but I don't want to feng shui my fucking liberation. And I think a lot of white leftists want to try and feng shui some shit, and you can't. You can't do that. But here's is this stitch of me ranting about something that I feel, and a lot of others through the comment section here, is a universal thought. And I'm going to bring something up as well because it reaffirms my argument that white leftists don't give a shit. They love being, belittled, bantered, told what to do, and yada yada yada, but they never want to physically help into any fucking buddy. And I think that this post in of it itself shows that. But I'm gonna let this video play out.
Desperately seeking realness.
White leftists really don't give a shit about indigenous bodies, lives, anything. And it's not just like my personal feelings. This is like a universal thought that indigenous people know, we feel. For some reason, us wanting to live, us wanting to survive, us wanting and needing help with that, living under capitalism, corporate capitalism, imperialism, the fact that we're under an occupation, and yet people can't even conflate that in their minds, but yet they're telling people to end the occupation abroad. In order for us to do that, we have to end occupation here. So again, white leftists in particular don't give a shit about indigenous bodies. It's very fucking clear. We are used as pawns. We are used like fucking water bottles at this point. To that, it's a disgusting way of showing some form of said solidarity. And even then, so it's not solidarity. They have co-opted the word solidarity to make them feel comfortable, so that they can pathologically go through society thinking that they stand for land back, they stand for our rights, they stand for self-determination, for sovereignty, to ending all wars. But yet they, especially when we bring up the wars against us, they don't want to understand it. It's years in the past. So again, saying the weird thing, for me is just saying the real thing, is that white leftists don't give a shit about indigenous bodies. And it even shows in like forms of like mutual aid. Is like a white leftist on this app could, be needing help with covering the cost for printing some pamphlet or something, or getting a new computer, and will miraculously in minutes have it. And indigenous people like myself have to beg. Like I have to literally beg. I have to literally beg people to have like to find some form of decency, fucking help, to show or use their generational wealth to help. That's the reality that we live in, is that indigenous people especially are in need of fucking resources, because the resources that should be ours have been taken away from us because of fucking colonialism. So it's disgusting to even have to stitch this, say the weird thing, because to me it's not weird. It's just it's very a reality that white leftists don't give a fuck about indigenous bodies, and if they did, we would be seeing it be shown in physical forms, and showing solidarity, standing. And it's not just financial tangible efforts. That's not what it just is. It's also acknowledging the fact that we still live under colonialism. That's even hard for you. So yeah, saying the weird thing, I guess, is me saying and calling out that there's a lot of white leftists that are on here, so-called abolitionists, that are not abolitionists. You guys are not. You guys are just cosplaying and pretending so that you can get further monetization off of the backs of the labor that I produce and that others produce as well. And that's not revolutionary. That's counter-revolutionary. That's very, detrimental to even your sovereignty, yet alone mine. So again, white leftists, you don't really give a shit about indigenous bodies and indigenous voices.
There it is right there. There it is right there. You don't give a shit about us. And if you did, we would see it be exhibited. I want to say shout out to Jamon, one of the moderators here. Thank you. Just in the midst of the break, commenting, sending the love, the prayers, everything. It really does mean a lot because again, this work, as much as it is essential, this shit is stressful. This shit is fucking stressful, and I wish someone would try and come up through some monolithic understanding, because it wouldn't be holistic, some monolithic understanding to try and tell me that this isn't as stressful as you think it is, or this isn't as a worry as you're putting it out to be. Bullshit. When I have to educate masses of people, and then I have multitudes of people that I trust, I love, I adore, that tune in, that reach out and say, hey, could you spread the word on something? Could you maybe do this? And I feel inclined with them more than anybody else, but what that comes with is energy being taken away, finances being used, that at this point in time I'm having to slave in order to get, like everybody else here. Not saying that I'm indifferent or that I'm special or anything like that, but what I'm getting at is that let's just paint this picture. Imagine going to school to be a broadcast journalist, being a broadcast journalist, putting all of your morals, all of your ideals, all of your respect, putting all of that in one particular basket. But this basket is your basket. This basket is not ran by anybody else. This basket doesn't have a signature that says Rupert Murdoch or says ABC7 or says CWC. Where motherfuckers get this shit twisted at is they think when I ask for help, for tangible fucking help from people here on the World Wide Web, they think that or paint this picture that there's certain aspects of my life going on. I will give you my address. I will give you my number, and we can have that phone call and we can have that visit, because I have a lot of comrades that I don't need to in any way, shape, or form put myself in a position to fucking, like, I'm applying for a fucking visa somewhere. Any type, this again, white leftists consistently want you to do shit, but when you need them to do something for you, doesn't even mean mutual aid. They find every bit of a fucking excuse to say that they can't fucking do it. That's a problem, and it always will be a fucking problem. So, to the ones that are watching, are going to watch, I appreciate you for, and I'm speaking to those that act like this, not to those that don't act like this. And probably the ones that feel like they don't act like this, I want you to question if you act like this, really. Like no bullshit. I want to say, one, that every single buddy here that watches this is not exempt to, me personally, even myself, is not exempt to criticism. We just have a huge problem with white fucking leftists thinking that they can alienate themselves from that, from accountability, from saying certain shit, and thinking that it's not going to add up to, to something in the future. It's disheartening, but it's also at the same time dysfunctional. And we have to start pointing this shit out. And so I wanted to, I know I didn't really go into specific, why you should support us here. Our work says it for itself. My work says it for itself. What I've done here should get you to understand that this should stay afloat, and it is staying afloat. There's people that adore, that appreciate what we have got, what we got going on here, what we're going to continue to moving forward. But we need some help, and that help comes from individuals, and it comes from people who interact in chat, who don't interact in the chat, who watch this later on, who will probably watch this or are watching this right now. Helping and supporting by any means necessary is all that we ask. That's all that I ask. The major portion of it, for me is the Patreon, because that comes directly, just like the Venmo and the PayPal and all of that. But nonetheless, this is monthly though. So this helps out with what we're getting ready to roll out. In September, we're rolling out, which would at this point is just a phase, but it's a planning phase so that from January to March, we could, roll out a workshop here in Vegas with comrades locally that I've been speaking with. Shout out to the Vegas Critter Collective and others as well. With Black Power Media Reloaded as well, stamp of approval there. A workshop for political prisoners, and utilizing this workshop to be able to make sure that indigenous bodies here get the much needed tutelage, but also at the same time get the connected, get connected to our comrades in who are incarcerated. This is something big for me. I'm currently right now, it's what I've been working on behind the scenes, is getting this together and making sure that, that the funding comes in on time, that and whatnot, from the Nevada Art Council. And so working locally with, organizations that are indigenous led is the biggest thing moving forward, that this network. And it's at this point, it's just me, being that, Janae is taking a break. Like I said, I'll get into some other stuff later on. I at this point really just don't care to speak about it. But we're moving forward, and supporting us helps us in ways that you don't really understand or even know. And so I just wanted to highlight that. And actually tomorrow I'll probably be, I have to know, actually I don't have to do anything, but I would like to roll out like a 2-minute video for you guys, kind of discussing what has already been worked on, the syllabus, who we're going to be speaking to, who will be speaking with us actually, and helping us in this process. And so, yeah, let's get to a public service announcement. I have a lot of comrades that, aside from this particular one, which I will make sure is unanimous and stays anonymous. I should say not unanimous. We gotta we gotta do fucking better. And I think that that's really what the message is that we gotta do better, and there's means to do it. We just gonna have to start applying it physically. And so I had a comrade that reached out to me, and I also want to say thank you to the comrade for helping me be able to sustain housing. Again, supporting indigenous led media means also making sure that we can stay housed. So if you can help out by any means necessary, below are ways to do so. We're seeing right now, again, fascism take another stage. Not fascism on the rise, not fascism just barely here. Fascism has always been here. It has always been a tool used for settler colonial expansion, for imperial expansion. In the book written by Benjamin Madley, called An American Genocide, the catastrophe of the California Indians, this particular book goes over how they legalized through legislation these means of exploitive, expulsive, I said expulsive, genocidal, exploitive means to erasing certain populations off this globe of indigenous people. But more or less, for those that are a part of the African masses that believe that this connection, or we don't have a connection to having some set or having some solidarity with those that are being oppressed by ICE, you got another fucking thing coming. Because for you to think that even you are exempt, or even that a small group of people are exempt from this type of behavior, you will find yourself in a position, whether it's now, whether it's later on, to realize that the people who you really honestly think are here for you, meaning that they have the best interest, they're looking out for your kids, they're looking out for their education. Well, they just cut their education. If you're thinking that the mass expulsion of individuals who pay into a system that exploits them is the problem, you're like, I don't know where along the lines you lost your amount or even sense of intellect, but that's wild to know that there's people in the African side of the diaspora of that are out here saying this isn't our fight. We shouldn't be standing in solidarity with those that are being kidnapped by ICE. And to those people, I say, you're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot, because if you think that you are exempt from to what's going on, like you're not fucking next. Shout out to Bill Goldberg, your net. Like, come on now. Like, this is where we're at. Like, the writing is on the fucking wall. It is clear as day what is going on right now. So for people to honestly believe that we shall overcome this shit, or if we just lock arms in solidarity and march down the streets, and really no, those days are long gone. In the words of Malcolm X, those days are long gone. We have no more time to fuck around, because we are already finding out how much we fucked around to the point where we've allowed them to create cop cities. We've allowed them to roll out legislation when they say that it's not or does not stand in solidarity with Project 2025. We fucking allowed them to do it. So the next stage is what? A next level of resistance. Putting ourselves in a position to make sure that even the comrades right now that have every bit of time and are utilizing that time and that energy and sacrificing it to make sure that people and that we get what is ours, the front lines. Because if you think that this shit isn't a fucking war, you got another fucking thing coming, dude. You got another fucking thing coming. We are literally fighting a war. And we have comrades abroad that are fighting on another front. See, we have multiple fronts that we are fighting against imperialism, but motherfuckers don't want to try and connect them. They loved playing Legos when they were a fucking kid. They loved playing blocks when they were a kid. They loved playing fucking, what's that? Someone help me out in the fucking comments. The shit from E.T. with all the metal fucking, I forget what the shit's fucking called, but nonetheless, you guys know what I'm talking about. Pretending, acting, and disguising as abolitionists, but yet when it's time to actually be an abolitionist, you don't want to fucking do it. So I actually know abolitionists. I'm an actual abolitionist. I know actual revolutionaries. I am an actual revolutionary, or practice revolutionary aesthetics. I have a comrade that reached out to me and stated, and I quote, I have a favor to ask. Well, a lot of us is out trying to bring it to the state through direct action. A lot of us are getting caught. OPSEC is down bad. Like, I mean, down bad. Talking, what's that? What's his name? Damn, I'm drawing a blank today. I am, and I apologize, you guys. Nonetheless, asking and I quote, if you could do a podcast or mention in your show to remind folks to start busting these surveillance cameras everywhere, that'll help us engage in hunting to do our thing for real. And so again, anonymous, but the message is very clear. The message is very out there. Is it, how are we going to allow them to come into our communities, watch our communities, destroy our, like, we're gonna have to, like, what we're gonna have to start picking, and the easiest one right now, yes, and I'll take that sacrifice for my comrades that are actually out there fucking doing shit and asking and advocating for those to do some fucking more. Bust these fucking cameras, please do it. I want to see videos of it, okay? I will be like fucking like the first minute of fucking Thriller, Michael Jackson in the fucking front eating popcorn, watching these videos. Please do it. I want it. I want to see it. I want us to start doing more than what we actually are, because those that are abroad are years ahead of us in regards to resistance, in regards to radical forms of not just combating, but extinguishing police fucking brutality and actually going up against tanks, actually going up against, see, people want these peaceful demonstrations and then they want to tell me that I'm chaotic or that's dogmatic. It's not dogmatic for me as an indigenous person, whether I'm a man, woman, whatever, regardless, I am indigenous. You telling me that me doing anything that involves the resisting the system and advocating and struggling towards my liberation, that's fucking wrong. You know how ignorant that sounds to me? You know how ignorant it probably sounds to other indigenous people who are out here advocating for you, even your fucking sovereignty. While you sit there and question ours, we're already on board with your sovereignty and making sure that you get what you need and what you fucking deserve as a human being. So again, bust these cameras. Make it harder for them to catch our fucking comrades that are out here really putting it to the fucking system. Shout out to Pal Action. US, I don't even know if that one's still fucking around because Fergie Chambers was trying to connect his ass to that shit and shit went south and whatever and whatnot. But nonetheless, shout out to Pal Action. Shout out to every single grassroots organizer, and shout out to all of my comrades that are out here actively resisting and putting it to this system, because that's all I and other indigenous people have wanted, is for more forms and more signs of solidarity that actually look like solidarity and not signs of performative fucking nature. I don't, it's equivalent to you dancing around me in fucking circles and shit and then telling me, hey, how you like my sovereignty? How you like my sovereignty? Does it look good on me? Or like treating my self-determination and others as well as indigenous people like it's a fashion fucking show. Or it's like a Met Gala, no, it's not one day out of the year. It's not 1 minute. It's not 1 month. It's every fucking day, every fucking minute, every second, every hour, every week, every month. That is what solidarity looks like. Every second you stand in solidarity with indigenous people. That is what it looks like. Putting yourself out on the line, not fucking cowering away when someone asks you to fucking do something that you're already fucking doing for yourself. but you don't want to do it for someone else. So it's effort, and we need more of it, because my comrades are out there risking their lives. They're risking finances as well, putting themselves on the fucking line. And so I think the best that we could do is break some fucking cameras. Make it to where it's harder for them to be found. I don't think that's a fucking dangerous task to ask, when we have so many comrades right now that are risking it just to be able to stop weapons manufacturing fucking warehouses, mind you. And yet we have people out here that can barely or are unwilling to send $5 so that even this message could get out there. So there's a lot of work to be done, but the message is very clear. We need to do more, because what we're doing now is fucking irrelevant. It's irrelevant, and it does not fucking help, and it hasn't been helping. Which is why we're in the position that we're in today, and it's not us. So I'm not blaming any of us. I'm not blaming me. What I'm blaming is the ideological nature that has put us here. The conformity, the concession after concession, as Imam Jamil Al-Amin would put it. An individual who I'm highlighting in the next 4 to 5, and then in these next 4 months, you will see. And then getting into 2026, you will see that culminate into a workshop. So this is all connected, whether you believe it or not. Resistance is connected, making it easier for our comrades to do their jobs. I'm not in a position to be out there. I wish that I could, and I show nothing but love and respect to those that have and those that can. And so the best that I could do is that when a message like that comes about, and this message is for those that are in New York, and I have a lot of people that watch me in New York. I don't know why, but a lot of you guys watch me from New York. So please, if you're in New York, wherever it is, Bronx, Bushwick, Queens, Yonkers, whatever, wherever, Brooklyn, please put yourself in a position to really say, hey, I don't really like how that ox been fucking treating people in our community. I don't like how he likes to sell grabba to fucking, to the so-called YNs in our community. I don't like how he works with the police officers. We should start holding these individuals that do not live in our communities, holding them accountable, or those that do live in our communities and gentrify them only so that they could have some cheaper fucking rent and then they have their corner store. We need to start holding these people accountable. And it's not just the ox. It's not just the corner stores. It's also the fucking pharmacies. It's also the grocery stores. It's also your barber shops. All of these individuals, if they know or they have video footage of individuals that are out there that are doing harm to our communities, and they're unwilling, or they aren't willing to give over or hand over that type of information, but are willing to do it for policy officers, for these pigs, these Gestapo Nazis, then they're just as equivalent to them. Don't bullshit. So again, the best that we could do is what our comrades have been asking, and what they're going to continue to ask is these small little efforts that we all can make right now. Right now. It's not hard. And I'm putting myself out on the line because, again, this is what's needed. Grassroots media, indigenous media supporting us, because you think ABC7 is going to tell you to take a fucking 32 or 36 fucking slugger, to a camera to make sure that your community's safe, and to make sure that these policy officers aren't fucking watching us from behind a desk? Because in the next thing to come, if it's, and it's already here, is them using robotic AI. And there was also, let me point something out too. I wish this person, and I'm going to name the fucking name, Kim fucking Crowley. You have the audacity to come at me and say that my shit was AI? The work that I've produced, The notebooks that I have that are right in fucking front of me. The data that's on here. You got your fucking nerve. Don't ever come to this network. I don't want your fucking money. I don't want your weird ass fucking fetish with teddy bears and shit that don't fucking talk, that aren't fucking real. You got your fucking nerve. Because I've always stood against fucking AI because I know what the fuck it is and what it fucking produces. And so for someone connected to this network to go and potentially lie on my name, because I mean, the the tracks, I mean, the footprints that were laid out, it was right there. But again, don't come to this network ever again. Don't call me, don't text me. Not that you were fucking calling me, but I bet you probably would have liked to. Nonetheless, what you did was disrespectful and it invalidated my intellect as a fucking indigenous person. And then you invoked dangerous fucking behavior onto me, or a dangerous like fucking scenario or situation onto me. I don't fuck with you and I don't fuck with people like you. So you can keep your fucking money. I don't care. But it also just shows you that people really didn't support indigenous media. They just supported the cracker that was involved in indigenous media. That's what it was. So again, I'm not here to sugarcoat shit. But at the end of the day, like I was stating, let me get back on track. And you know, for those that are probably like, oh my god, he's everywhere. I don't care. This is a fucking live stream. This shit it's not a segment. There's no run sheet. This is just me talking and me getting something out there, you know, in the 46 minutes. I'm actually going to end this in about 4 minutes. So I didn't expect to be here for 6-7 hours if people expected me to do so. In regards to again, we got to do better. They've asked us to do better. So let's do it. I'm not advocating for people to go out there and be fucking superheroes and fucking vigilantes and shit, but I am advocating for people to go out there and take initiative. Please do so, because it's very much so needed. And we live in a time period right now and are going to continue to live in a time period where they're just going to continue to see what they can get away with and see how much of the masses are going to allow them to get away with it. And there's individuals like myself, this, you know, channel, and people that are connected to this channel that are advocating for us to start resisting now. We are seeing them come into our communities with masks on their faces, no badges, no warrants, kidnapping individuals. They have now created a concentration camp. Not that we didn't already have those that already existed, because indigenous populations here in the occupied territories of Turtle Island live on some things called reservations, but really they're concentration camps. So moving forward, we got to start doing a little bit better, and our comrades have asked for it. So thank you guys for tuning in. I wanted to get to this since I just finished on the side of my people book spreading. Speaking of Malcolm, peace 10, peace to you, KJ, peace to Jamon. 10 has returned. Yes, it's not. You guys probably won't see me for like another month. I'm on here, like I said, to give an announcement and to spread awareness, and this was the best way that I was able to do it with a short amount of time. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. It means a lot, and I hope you guys moving forward can continue to support me. Again, my name is Alec Jasper. So if you are tuning in and this is your first live stream ever tuning in to Tin Media, again, Tin Media is short for the Indigenous Nightmare Media. Hope you enjoyed it. All I can say is like, share, subscribe, ring that notification bell, or click it so that it rings when I'm on next. But until then, I want to say thank you guys, and we will see you guys in the next one. Before then, though, like I said, support the Patreon, patreon.com/tin media. It's the best way to help us out. Says right here, hello, it's all good. Oh, bro, good to see you. Yeah, no, it's good to see you guys. You know, I don't want to make it seem like when I say that this is like energy consuming, like I don't enjoy the time that I have here with the people that view. Because I do. I really do. I appreciate every bit of your guys' energy and your guys' time exhibited into making this as well, being part of the show, being on screen. So for those that were out there, or for my former co-host that was, you know, trying to say that I was emotionally blackmailing our viewers, no, I needed a fucking break. You knew I needed a fucking break. Let's keep it fucking real. I've been needing a break for more than fucking 3 years, and I've been taking little small increments. And I think now, being that I have a group of people that respect me, they don't put themselves in a position to overstep, but at the same time, they don't devalue or invalidate what I have going on physically, mentally, and whatnot. And so, you know, this time off has really gotten me to understand what, you know, true relationships look like moving forward, and what this network looks like moving forward. So I hope, one, in brief, that cleared you know, stuff up until I actually go and pull up receipts and whatnot regarding not just the situation of co-host not being here. And again, I left on their own terms, so I'm not gonna, you know, make it seem like, you know, or I'm not gonna allow the narrative to be like someone was kicked out or someone was left out of this process moving forward. No. There's a lot that will be addressed. There's a lot of invalidations that were meant towards me that I will not tolerate, and I will be, you know, putting myself in a position not to defend myself by any stretch, because there's nothing that I need to defend, but I sure as shit need to put things out there that are very clear and sets the record straight in regards to what I was needing here from people that are no longer involved with this network, and that does not involve Janae. Janae has given, you know, me the understanding that she will join when the time is right again, and the time is not right now, and I can respect that. But what I can't respect are those that want to leave and then try and invalidate years or a year of you know, of work or experiences that I've physically gone through. I will not allow that. So yeah, moving forward, I hope you guys enjoy the content, and we will see you guys, or I will see you in the next one.
Please join me in praying that I don't say something we all regret. These are dangerous times. Mr. President, are you sure about this? It's not a coincidence that in the scriptures poverty is mentioned more than 2,100 times.
Look in my eyes, what do you see?
These issues are as alive as they ever were.
Neon lights, Nobel Prize, when a mirror speaks, the reflection lies.
This is not about charity, it's about justice.
I know your anger, I know your dreams.
But justice and equality are mates, aren't they? Justice always wants to hang out with equality, and equality is a real pain in the ass.
I'm the smiling face of your TV.
I changed the channel.
Oh, there's a law of compensation, and there's an accounting to be held, an accounting that shall make the Depression of 1929 seem as a prosperity when it breaks upon you.
Only you can set you free. The cult of personality.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their